I think the single most important thing in reaching your goal body would probably be...
Don't you want to look good naked?
Having a very structured plan, in the sense of, maybe it's not very structured, but just having an overall plan. And the reason for that is because, at least thinking back to my success and like the achievements that I've gotten within my body composition, and then also with my clients, has been from going into it with a plan, right? Going into it with a light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna start doing this until I reach my goal weight or my goal body composition. But no, it's like, I'm going to plan this out strategically and have what I call a periodization plan, so that I can say, hey, I wanna be here in 12 months. I wanna be here in 6 months. So let's reverse engineer what we need to do in order to get you there. So it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna try this and see if it works, or do this for a little bit and see if it works. I think that is maybe one of the mistakes that I made for a long time, and that I see a lot of people making, is they don't have any structure to what they're doing. They don't have a periodization plan. They don't have the education behind, okay, I can't be on a diet forever. I can't be in a fat loss phase for 12 months on end without any breaks. Or, if they want to, especially with women, if you are looking to create, a toned physique or a defined physique, that might mean that going into a fat loss phase might not be the first thing that you do. Maybe it's, you need to spend some time actually putting on some muscle mass in order to look the way you want. So if you don't have a plan for that, right? If you don't know what it takes to get to where you think you want to be, then you're going to continue spinning your wheels. And that's what I did for a long time. I thought, okay, I need to just continue to lose weight. I need to continue to restrict, continue to diet if I want to create, the body of my dreams, or whatever that is, right? But sometimes, and for a lot of women, it's like, no, I need to actually spend some time eating enough food and get out of the dieting mindset to actually create the body that I want. And so if I have a plan for that, if I'm like, all right, in 12 months from now, I want to look and feel my best, whether you have an event like a wedding or something like that, have some end goal, right? Have an end goal. Then it's like, okay, if I have 12 months to get here, and that's another mistake, I think, is not giving yourself enough time, right? Having that idea of instant gratification where it's like, I need to do this now, versus the long-term side of things, like thinking a little bit long-term. If you've been yo-yo dieting your whole life, why don't you take a second and think about, okay, if I just spend the next year actually periodizing what I'm trying to do versus continuing to do what I was doing for all of the past years, maybe I can actually get to where I want to be. So if that's like, okay, if I'm going to give myself 12 months, let's think about where I'm at. Do I need to put on some muscle mass? Do I think that if I continue to diet and restrict and even lose those 10 pounds that I'm going to have the body that I want? Or should I spend some time not restricting? Should I spend some time at maintenance, eating around my maintenance intake, and maybe enjoying my life a little bit more? Being able to go out to eat and not be, stressed about that, going to events and, not being stressed about being on a diet or, eating too many calories or things like that. And, when you're at maintenance, you still have to pay attention to that. You can't just go out and eat anything that you want. But it's realizing that, okay, if I can come up with a plan and reverse engineer from where I want to be. So if it's like 12 months from now, say I've been, in this yo-yo dieting for a while and I haven't hit my goal. Okay, maybe we spend 6 to 8 months in a period of time where we really just focus on fueling ourselves enough, spending time focused on building muscle in a very strategic way. So following a progressive, structured, smart plan, doing that for 6 months, getting a little uncomfortable, maybe seeing the scale stay the same or even go up a little bit. But then once I can spend that time out of the restrictive mindset, out of the diet, then once I go back to it, after I've spent 6 to 8 months building some muscle, then I can spend maybe 3 to 4 months in that fat loss phase, because we know that putting on muscle takes a a good amount of time, right? It takes a long time to put on muscle, but losing body fat can actually be a pretty quick process, especially if you do it in a way that is strategic and you are educated behind the different factors that you need to implement in order to get to your goal as efficiently as possible. And that's where a coach comes in, or someone who can educate you and keep you accountable during that process. But I think it's really just having that long-term plan, like thinking about it from, okay, where do I want to be 12 months from now? Where do I want to be 6 months from now? And can I reverse engineer that to create a well-structured plan? That plan is probably what is going to create all the other things, right? It's going to allow you to focus on the things that matter when you have that structured plan. And if you are educated on why you need to spend time outside of the restriction, outside of the dieting mentality, that can be super powerful and beneficial when you actually spend time fueling appropriately and spend time lifting weights and, building muscle, because then you'll realize like, oh wow, I was missing out on this for a long time. I feel really, really good. I feel confident. I feel strong. I feel a lot of energy. And then when you do go back, maybe you won't even want to go back into a fat loss phase. Maybe you'll feel so good feeling stronger and building muscle and having that energy that you realize that, oh, that's all I need to do to feel my best, feel my most confident. And then you just keep going from there. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of a tangent, but having a plan and even having someone help you structure that plan can be a game changer, I think. Women, we believe a life.